I've said this for many, many years. Dash cameras are very, very important, and they're really becoming more of a normal mainstay of our automotive experience. They're your guardian angel. Someone hits you, or someone hits your car, or a pedestrian or a bicyclist, you have no proof. It's your word against theirs, but the old dash cam will get you out of that jam every single time. They are really handy, and nowadays they are so feature rich, yet they're really, really affordable. So one of the most popular ones out there is the Vantrue X4. But for 2022, there's a brand new upgraded, a big upgrade of the X4. It's the X4S. That's what we have today, and we have the Duo. So it's the X4S, all improved, and a second channel back camera as well. So the popular X4 had some really, really great features. It was a 2K camera and a 3-inch IPS screen, and it was powered with a supercapacitor. And for those that aren't familiar, the supercapacitor opposed to a battery is better for extreme temperatures. So for extreme heat and extreme cold, they work better than a battery and more reliable. So that's why so many of the higher end cameras are going to the supercapacitor. Now this X4S though adds on to the goodness of that X4 by adding Wi-Fi capability. So you have 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. You have an app so you can control the camera with your phone. You can actually view and download files right onto your phone. That's new. GPS is still an option, but I would highly recommend it. All it is, it's just a different suction mount for this camera, and it's about $20. And the reason I've heard why some manufacturers don't include the built-in GPS, and this kind of makes sense, is because those units, a lot of times, you know, with extreme heat and things, the GPS units can fail. So if you have it built into your camera and it fails, well, you know, you can't really fix it. If you have an external GPS like this suction cup, guess what? If it fails, you just buy another one. You don't have to throw away the whole camera. And one of the biggest differences with this X4S, this now shoots in 4K. So you get 4K in the front and Full HD 1080p in the rear at 30 frames per second. It also features wide and high dynamic range recording for a real crisp image. From the front, you get a f1.7 very quick lens. It's 131 degrees field of view. Same field of view for the rear, except that is an f2.0 aperture. So two fairly quick cameras. We're going to test those out in a little bit. So first off, let's see what's in the box. Open it up, what do you get? You get 2 stickers, kind of warning stickers. If you choose to, you can't put it on to your window. I'm not sure if it's gonna look very good on your car, depending on what kind of car you have. There's a long USB-C cable. Everything's USB-C, by the way. And this is to connect the rear camera to the front camera. In case you make a mistake mounting that rear camera, maybe it's crooked or something like that, they give you an extra adhesive as well. So handy for that. Or maybe you're getting a new vehicle, you're changing vehicles, and you want to take your camera system with you. I wouldn't sell it with the car unless you're going to charge the person, and you can actually just go and put a new adhesive on there. Here's the camera itself. It's a good looking camera. It's quite slim. It's got a good looking lens, and there's that 3-inch IPS screen, which is very clear. Like other Vantrue products, this camera is mounted by a suction mount. So there is a heel on the suction mount. You start it at 9 o'clock and you actually rotate and it locks in at the 12 o'clock position. So it's going to be nice and secure. And if you have that GPS or you want that GPS mount, 20 bucks, it's going to be, it looks pretty well exactly the same. That's what we're using right now. Another thing I like, the main 12-volt power plugs directly into the mount, not the camera. So if you're just using, for instance, just the front camera, you don't have a rear camera hooked to the camera, it's easy to take this camera on and off. You don't have to unplug anything. Maybe you have multiple cars, you have just a different mount. You can just take this camera off and just mount it onto the other car. It's that easy. Of course, there's a fairly good manual in many different languages and a quick start guide as well. Here's something I love. They include a little trim tool. And this is so handy when you're going and tucking your wires away. Here are a few shots of me installing the wires. And let's say along this A pillar here, there's wires there. This is where I put the actual rear camera wire. It's all hidden here, is hidden underneath the top trim up here, and that little tool is just so easy to actually slide under there just to get that wire there. And yeah, not a lot of companies include that. I think it's a big bonus. They used to be orange, now it's black. I wish it was orange again because it's really easy to misplace. I've actually lost it twice already in the car. So it's actually in here somewhere and I can't find it. Once you have your suction hooked up, you've ran your wires, you're gonna connect your power up to your 12-volt source. Now, if you want to use the parking mode, which means that it's going to actually work when you're not in the vehicle and the vehicle is not running, it's just parked, that's why it's parking mode, you will have to either get a hardwire kit where you're going to hardwire it directly into your vehicle's fuse panel, or you use an external battery pack like a dash camera battery that I'm using right now. I changed vehicles. This vehicle is going to be going back in about 4 weeks, so I don't want to really hardwire it. I have a battery pack, it's great to use. So either of them will work, and then you're just going to plug that straight into your 12-volt outlet. I recommend that you hook up your power and your camera first before you actually mount your rear camera. That way you can see the angle and the location of where you're going to put that rear camera. By the way, make sure your window is nice and clean. Do not mount it in an area that you have a lot of tint. Some windows have a graduated tint, so it's darker on the top. Mount it below that so you'll have a nice clear image, and make sure it's in an area, if you have a rear wiper, that's going to be cleared by the rear wiper as well, because if you don't wipe your rear window, you're just going to see a lot of water spots, and no one wants that. So you've been warned. I love things that are super simple to use. This X4S is so easy right out of the box. It's so easy to navigate. It is not a touchscreen. It's a 3-inch IPS screen. You have 4 buttons on the side and 1 on the top. It is very, very easy. On the top, you have an M for menu. You have an up arrow, a down arrow, and an OK button. As soon as you power the camera on, when you start your car, it automatically starts recording, as you see right here. Now, while it's recording, these buttons have different functions. For instance, if we go and hit the top arrow button, you can see the slash across the microphone. So now it is not recording audio. And if we just hit that again, that's going to record audio again. This also has a speaker where the X4 didn't have a speaker on it. So when you're doing playback. Now, if we want to go and hit the down arrow, we're going to get different views of the camera. This is just here, just the rear camera only. If we go one more time, this is going to be our front and rear, the front being the more prominent camera. Here we have the rear being the prominent camera, the front being the smaller one, and that is just our front one right there. So we'll go back and we'll just put it to, I like to see both cameras right there. It's up to you. And on the bottom here, that OK button, also, if you actually hit it, it actually stops the recording process. And when you stop the recording, then you can go and hit M, which is your menu. This is super easy. So you see the orange bar here. So if we cycle down, we have the record system and files. So if we want to view an event, we would go there, and then it just cycles through. That's it. If we want to adjust our record settings, we hit OK. Resolution, OK. Front and rear. So we have 2 cameras hooked up here, and we have 4K in the front and 1080p for 30 frames per second for the rear. That's what we want. That's the highest resolution that we're going to get for both cameras. When we finish out of that, if we hit OK, we can go right back there. Whenever you want to go back, you can also hit M for menu. We want to go down one, loop recording. This is how long each clip is going to be before it loops back around and makes a new clip. So you have anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes. And once your card is full, by the way, it will overwrite anything that's not protected. We'll get to that in a second. Let's go for 1 minute right now. By the way, you can use from 8 to 256 gigabyte cards, and like any dash camera, make sure to only use the cards that the manufacturer recommends. All right, so we go down to G sensor, hit OK. We have forward and backward, upward and downward, left and rightward, depending on where you want to prioritize the G sensor to detect. I'm going to just leave it forward or backward, and also you can adjust the sensitivity from 1 to 5. Let's stay right in the middle, right there. I find it's pretty good there. It takes a pretty good jar for it to actually really sense it, but you know, even a good slam of the door will sense it, which is, I think that's a good test. Audio recording, it's either on or off. Well, we actually set that while we were driving there. Next one here is recording light. We can have that on or off. You can go in total stealth mode on here, so you won't see any lights at all. I like to have it on to make sure that I know that it's recording. Parking mode, hit OK. We have 3 different types of parking mode. We have collision detection, which will start recording at your full recording resolution as soon as it detects an impact. We have motion detection, where it'll start recording when it detects motion from the front or the back camera. And if we select any of these, we have low, medium, or high selections as well. I'm going to just hit medium there, and then we're going to go to low bit rate recording. So if we hit that, we have a choice between 1920 or 1280, 15 frames per second. This is a low quality recording. And so what happens here on this parking mode, if we have it set to there, is that it will continuously record at this lower bit rate, but if it detects an impact, it will record at your full resolution of whatever you have it set to. All right, so next thing, we have exposure. I love this. There are a lot of cameras that don't have this option. You know, so this way here, let's say your rear, it's set at 0, it's defaulted as 0. And what's really handy here is you can adjust it to be darker or brighter. And where this comes in handy is maybe you have a little bit of a tint, or even a factory tint on your rear window. You might want to increase the exposure up a little bit. And you can go all the way to 2 full stops, which is very, very, very bright. We have a pretty clear window. We're just gonna stick to 0 right now, but if you need to change it, that is where you do it. And you can do it for the front or the back. There you go, just like that. All right, so let's just go back to 0. And then next is color. Some cameras are a little bit too bright or too red. You can change it a little bit. Well, basically you can go black or white or sepia. I just go to normal on that. And then number plate, if you want to enter in your license plate number, that is where you do it, and that's going to actually be right embedded into your recording, and that is the same as stamp. Now on the stamp here, this is where you select what you want on your recording, and you can just cycle through and turn things on or off however you want it there. And then next it will be rotate display. So that is for front or back. So for instance, on the back, if you put it upside down or needed to mount it a certain way that it's upside down, you could actually flip it just through here. That's very, very cool. So you have no issue of, oh no, I put the camera on backwards or upside down. You can just adjust it there. Okay, next thing, time lapse. If you want to just do a time lapse, it's kind of cool if you're doing a long road trip or something and you want to just see everything all, you know, an hour of driving and, you know, 10 seconds, you can do that. And you can adjust how many frames per second that it's going to record as well. That's kind of neat. Don't use it very often. And that is it for our record feature. Now, if we go down one more, now that is it for our record feature. That is it for our record feature. If we go down one, we go to the system, hit OK. We got language, we are in English. Wi-Fi, now this here, if we choose 2.4 or 5 gigahertz, if we choose that, if we do the Wi-Fi, here it is here, it's gonna tell us this is what we're gonna look for on our mobile device. Once you see it, you enter in the password, which is by default 12345678. And then you can connect to the app, and with the app, you can control the camera in live view. So you don't even have to use the screen, but you could also do all the settings that you just saw right now on the camera. You can do all those settings in your phone as well. So it might be a little bit easier, but this is pretty easy though with the screen and the 4 buttons for sure. And also you can view your footage and download the footage from the app as well. So if you see a clip you want, you need to download it first. So you just go and download it and then you'll view it out of your local folder. The GPS will also show on there. Be aware though, if you're recording in 4K for the front and 1080 for the back, so full HD and ultra HD, these file sizes are quite large depending on what size of loop you have. So a 3-minute loop is about 650 megabytes, which is a lot. You know, that's close to, you know, getting close to a gig of information, and the transfer speed is fairly quick. It's still going to take you probably a couple minutes though to download one single clip. So my advice is if you need to do more than one, I would actually just take the camera down and just connect it to your computer. And they even supply a cable for that, and that's much easier. And you can also see it on a bigger screen. Go back into our system here. All right, so we had format SD card. That's where you're going to format everything. All data will be deleted. We do not want to do that right now. That is where it's done though. Reminder setup here. This here is, it's gonna ask you, you know, like you should format it once in a while, and it's gonna say, hey, you know, I have it set for 1 month. So after a month, it's gonna say, hey, you should format your card. And that's good. It just cleans things out, cleans the memory out. We are using a Vantrue SD card in this right now, by the way. Okay, next, time and date. That's very straightforward. I'm not even gonna go into there. Auto LCD off. So this is where you would set how long you want for the LCD to stay on, and then it'll go into a black screen, and or you can have it totally off for auto off. I'm gonna have it off right now. Now, if you do have it to turn off and you have the recording light turned off, you are in super stealth mode, so you won't even know that you're recording with that. But if you want to, maybe, you know, don't want anyone to know you're recording, that's what you want to do there. All right, and device sound, you can adjust your sound here of how loud those beeps are. It goes quite loud. Frequency, we are here 50 or 60 hertz. We're gonna go 60 hertz. That's what our frequency is here. System info, this is what you're gonna see what model and what software version you're running. If you need to update your software, you're gonna put it onto the SD card, and then you're gonna put it back in here. It's gonna update. There are full complete instructions on the Vantrue site. Just go to their support page there. All right, default settings, that is straightforward. If you wanna go do a full factory reset. GPS, on or off, we have it on. We have the GPS mount here. It's only 20 bucks. Highly recommend it. And then the speed unit, whether you're in kilometers or miles per hour. We are in Canada, so we are gonna leave it to kilometers right now. And that is it. We are back there, and we will go to one last is the files. So here we have 3 different things here. We have event, we have normal, we have photo, or we have all. So event would be, if we hit that, these files here are all events. So either I saved it myself by hitting this top button, we'll show you that when we get driving, or there was an impact and it actually recorded it. So that's how it happens. So you can see there, you can select whatever one, and if I hit OK, so that's the recording right there. I believe that's actually when I slammed the door and I actually created an event there. That is out of my garage right there. All right. Okay, we're gonna pause. We're gonna go hit menu. Menu is kind of like your home button. It always goes back. All right, so if we also go back out, we have normal. We hit normal. You're gonna see a lot more recordings here under normal. And the last folder is photo, which we have none taken here. So if you want to take a photo or save an event, what's going to happen is, let's just get out of here. We hit menu again. That's like our home button, remember? Now we are going right back into our camera view. We can see it here, and it just automatically started recording here. As you can see the red light and the time code running down here. Now, if you want to save an event, let's just say, oh, there's a real funny thing that happened. It might not always be something bad or sad that you want to record, but hey, there's a real cool car there that you want to see. You want to save it. Well, on the top, just like a shutter for a camera, you're just going to hit that and it takes a picture. It also, you can see the little key. It locks that event as well. So not only will you have a locked event, a video of what this particular clip is going to be saved in that event folder, but you're also going to have a still picture of that as well. So really, really handy and extremely easy to use, that's for sure. I'm currently recording on both cameras. Also, I have one camera recording me right now. I'm using an external microphone, a lav mic on my seatbelt here, as you can see, and that's hooked to that camera. But in case you're wondering what the audio sounds like from the X4S itself, well, I'm gonna switch here. This is now the audio from the X4S. Obviously, I'm not even sure what it's gonna sound like. It's not gonna sound as good as the lav, for sure. But you know, it's just there in a pinch just to capture the moment of if something happens, even the crash, if something crashes into you, it's just gonna give you that extra little bit. Once again, what I love is just how easy it is to operate this camera. If I want to turn that audio off, I can just turn it off just by hitting that up button. Now it shows that there is no microphone. I can turn that back on just like that. If I want to, oh, there's a picture of a Tesla, I'm gonna take that picture and it's gonna grab that picture. It's that easy and it's gonna save that in the event. Love how easy it is. Here's some more footage to show you. First off, this is an overcast day. You can see it's about to rain actually. But the lighting is fairly neutral, so it should look good at all angles, front camera and back camera. Next, we will show you, of course, it gets dark at nighttime. This is a night shot here. You can see that real fast f1.7 lens on the front camera really does provide a really decent image in low light. And of course, it's raining. We get a lot of that on the West Coast here. And lastly, this is what it's like in some nice sunshine. It's really gonna shine really there, but I'm driving directly right into the sun here just to see how it handles the flares of being backlit, completely backlit. So there are some good examples. I'll leave you a few more here. As you can tell, I'm a fan of this X4S. This is my style of camera. It's easy to use. I like the 3-inch screen. I just recently tested another high-end dash camera that didn't have any screen at all. Everything had to be done through the app. Not my cup of tea. I love having that screen. And with those 4 buttons, just the menu, up and down arrow and an OK, it really doesn't get any easier. The only thing missing on this camera is it does not have an in-cabin camera. No big deal for me. If you're an Uber driver or a taxi driver, rideshare, you may want a different camera. Vantrue's got a whole bunch of those. They got 3-channel cameras. I don't need the in-cabin camera, so this is perfect. Plus, if you actually add in an extra camera, it's gonna add more bulk to this. You're gonna have larger video files, so you'll need bigger cards, and it takes more power if you're using it in parking mode. So yeah, this is absolutely perfect. If you're interested and you want more information on that X4S, I'll leave a link right in that video description. Also, the good folks at Vantrue have provided my viewers a 20% off discount code. I'll leave that in the video description as well. That's a big bonus. I don't know how long that'll last for, so depending on when you watch this video, it may or may not work at that time. But if it works, big bonus. Anyways, that's it for our video review of the X4S Duo. If you like the content, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you on the next Everyday Reviews.